Hello and welcome to the News 9 Plus show on the world's first news and current affairs OTT platform, News 9 Plus. The conflict in Manipur should worry us all. Both sides in the conflict are using military-grade weapons to target each other. But what makes this a clear and present danger now is what's unfolded in Manipur in the last 2 days. Civilians have begun using drone bombs to target each other. One person has been killed and several injured. Now, drone bombs are among the easiest improvised weapons to deploy, and they've been used by both sides in the Russia-Ukraine war with devastating effect. India's Home Ministry has sent experts to study the drones that were used in the attacks in Manipur. This is not the first such attack on Indian soil, of course. In June 2021, Pakistani terrorists used low-flying drones to target an Indian Air Force base in Jammu. No lives were lost or parked aircraft damaged in the twin attack. But since then, India has had a rogue drone problem. That is, drones used by non-state actors to ferry arms, ammunition and drugs across the international boundaries. The Pakistan deep state and narco traffickers have been using drones to drop arms, ammunition, explosives and drugs along a swath of the border from Jammu to Gujarat. But coming back to Manipur, what do the recent attacks in Manipur, the use of drone bombs, mean for national security? Joining me to discuss this are Lieutenant General P. Ravi Shankar, former DG Artillery, and my colleague Deepak Badana in the studio. Gentlemen, welcome to the News 9 Plus show. General Shankar, I'm aware that you're developing ramjet-powered artillery rounds. So drone bombs are not a very big thing on the scale of a military-grade threat for you. But you know, when civilians start using drone bombs to target each other, like what we've been seeing very worryingly in Manipur, I mean, how worried should we be really?
Look, at the outset, I must tell you, one should be very worried about this development. This was a development just waiting to happen for many reasons. First, these are not civilians who are using these drone bombs or drone-carried bombs. These are militias of both sides of the divide in Manipur. These militias have linkages on the other side in Myanmar with their parallel groups who are supporting them. And then, of course, you have to understand there's a civil war going on in Myanmar, where all kinds of militias are fighting with the junta.
Yes.
And these militias and armies, whatever you call them, have access to Chinese weapon systems.
Right.
In fact, there's one army which is bordering in the Shan state, which is the local supplier of Chinese arms, smuggled arms for these people. So weapons, drones, all these are available and are being used in Myanmar.
Yes.
Now add to that the fact that there's a whole lot of drug money there. Drug, turnover is to the region of about $25 billion annually. It's actually too big even for China to handle straight. That's why Chinese also have not entered Myanmar from the eastern side into the Shan state.
Right.
So put all these things together and you have a cocktail which is just about to burst.
Right.
And it had to fall on our side. And this is the first manifestation of a drone in this area. Now, you already said that, look, we've had this problem across the Pakistan border where, weapons and drugs were being pushed across. Once they tried that attack in Jammu, it didn't succeed. But this is a different ballgame. Now you're going to see this whole thing exploding. If one side has used it, the other side will use it.
Right.
And once both these use it, perforce the armed forces will have to, or the central military forces, paramilitary forces, have to do something to counter this. So we are looking at a stage of escalation, which is not welcome and it is worrisome, especially taking into consideration, we are talking of a sensitive border state like Manipur. This is my opening stance on it.
Yes,
and we
absolutely.
could go along with any
In
questions.
fact, General Shankar, let's look at the visuals that have been coming out of Manipur of the kind of drone bombs that the insurgents are using. There you see the tail of one of the improvised explosives that were dropped from the drone, a quadcopter, a small quadcopter that was recovered. This was the first attack 2 days ago where a civilian was killed, several were injured. You can see the shrapnel from the drone bomb all across this dwelling. And what this does really is to, turn a normal toy like quadcopter, Deepak, into a area weapon. You're instantly using a small drone. You're putting an explosive under it. You're just hanging an explosive under it, and then you're just launching it over the target. And what you've converted this small little drone bomb into an area weapon that's able to target without the launch, the adversary being in a visual sight of his target. I mean, that's a very worrying sight indeed, and demonstrating how this operates. If you see, this is how easy it is. This is a hexacopter that's flying there, taking off from a field of some kind. You see this militiaman hanging what looks like a mortar round just under the belly of the hexacopter. There it flies off and it drops straight down. This is a demo video of some kind. General Ravi Shankar, I want to ask you this. How easy is this? Is it as easy as it appears on this video?
Yeah, actually, it's easier than what it appears on this video.
Right.
It's as simple as that, right? Okay, you don't have a bomb, you can put a grenade down.
Yes.
And these drones are diamondism.
Yes.
You can pick it off anywhere. You can, in fact, order it online also in some cases.
You can order it
And like I
online, you
told
can
you,
buy it in a toy shop. Yes.
you can do wherever. And to lift, say, half a kg or 1 kg worth of a bomb and throwing it is absolutely on the cards.
Right.
The thing is that the drone gives you, technology-wise and, from a military point of view, it gives you the front-end integration of the sensor and the shooter,
Yes.
right? And the moment that happens, it shortens all loops of engagement,
Right.
and you can actually precisely target what you want. That this is a very dangerous capability in the hands of these militant groups.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm going to ask General Ravi Shankar.
What-
Let me ask Deepak this now. Where did they get the know-how from, Deepak? You've been focusing on Myanmar. You did that story on the civil war within Myanmar, where you reported the fact that the Myanmar insurgents were using drones of the kind that we've been seeing here. Is it, as General Shankar said, that the possibility that the drones could have actually infiltrated from across the border, the know-how, the capability of using these came from
I don't think
Myanmar?
there's any doubt about that. To begin with, people on both sides of the border share
Right.
close relations. They are
Yes.
practically of the same tribe. Now, what we have to understand is that during the course of the civil war, the military junta had the aerial advantage. They had the
Yes.
air force. The insurgents, in turn, started applying drones. And a lot of them are actually coming from across the border, from
Right.
China. So it was only a matter of time that this expertise comes over into the Indian context.
Right.
And the possibilities are indeed horrific.
It's horrific indeed. General Shankar, what can we do really about this now? I mean, the fact that now the insurgents have already used it, they've started deploying it, 2 attacks. You're saying, you've warned of an escalation, that the other side could use it as well. How does one prevent this?
Look, let me put it this way. Let's see what's the next step which is going to be. You've got these crude
Right.
drones with bombs and they're paid put.
Right.
My worry is tomorrow, what if they use FPV drones, first person
Right.
view drones?
Right.
And that means that, with a guy with an AR, VR device on his head,
Yes.
he can actually guide the drone to its logical conclusion absolutely accurately. And they are very cheap and they are made out of local technologies and all that. And that's what has been demonstrated in the Israel-Hamas war,
Yes.
as also in Ukraine and Russia.
Right.
So you have a major problem on your hand at this point of time.
Yes.
Now, how do you defuse it? The first thing is to defuse the political problem between the cookies and
Yes.
the Métis. Now, for long, it has been, treated as some kind of peripheral problem. I think both our Home Minister and Prime Minister need to go there, sit
Yes.
with both the groups, talk, disarm them. They're pretty heavily armed. That's the
Right.
first thing. The second thing is, if you don't do that, the connections from across the border will only go stronger. And if
Right.
it goes stronger, you'll start losing territorial control in this area,
Yes.
right? All this talk of I'll put a fence there and all is 3 to 4 years away. Hey.
Right.
And if this isn't arrested at this point of time politically,
Yes.
you're going to have a problem. So that is the first thing. Politically, you have to arrest this situation. The second thing is you have to equip the uniformed forces there
Right.
with counter drone measures,
Right.
right? And that's the basic minimum. Whether you want to use these counter drone measures, just EW based, or you want to shoot them down, or whichever, or active or passive measures, one of the two, you have to do that. And it's high time we get on to this. And for this, again, I don't know whether the paramilitary forces and all that will be able to handle all this. So
Absolutely.
virtually, you'll have to get the army now
Right.
and get them going.
Very,
And
very
you have to
important
equip the army,
observations. Yes.
and you have to get the army, and you have to equip them with this. Plus, you have to start your own series of aerial surveillance in this area
Yes.
to
Yes.
see where these drones are being operated from and how and all that. I think we need to handle this at a slightly higher level.
Absolutely. We
Uh,
need to handle this at a slightly higher level, General Shankar. I'm going to ask Group Captain Manjeet Singh Sidhu this now. He joins us. He's a drone expert from the Indian Air Force. Group Captain Sidhu, we've just seen two attacks, very sensational attacks in Manipur, drone bombs being used by civilian insurgents. And General Ravi Shankar was mentioning the fact that how there's been a pattern of escalation of the use of drones over the last year. They were first used for reconnaissance, and now they've made the natural progression of being used to carry IEDs and drop them indeed on targets, civilian targets. What are the kind of countermeasures that need to be deployed for this to prevent such attacks from happening in the future?
Sir, what I was talking about was the anti-drone system which is available in India.
Yes.
Today is being majorly made by DRDO,
Yes.
Bell, and Ontario to some extent, and the major private roles has come in after the collaboration with two countries, Israel and Russia.
Right.
There are two ways of addressing the issue. One is by having the soft kill, that is,
Yes.
you're blocking the waves of communication, EW waves. One is controlling, which is 2.4 gigahertz, which can
Yes.
be very close to the frequency which is used for the Wi-Fi.
Right.
Now, GPS signal jamming is most easy, which is easily available. Garage jamming is very easily doable. However, if somebody is flying FPV drone,
Yes.
then it is only the controllers which requires to be jammed. And this is
Right.
what exactly has happened in the Manipur case,
Right.
wherein the controller itself, using the images of the target area, he has used the platform to carry the explosive to that location, and which has definitely become devastating now. To have a prevention, you need to have a capability to detect
Yes.
before it is launched, the duration for which it is available to you. Now, what kind of engagement which you can undertake to neutralize such a drone,
Right.
you need to know whether it is carrying the explosive or the camera.
Right.
It's slightly more challenging for anyone to start with. However, the anti-drone system, journal is to jam the GPS, and second is to nullify the controlling capability of the person.
Jan Shankar, this Manipur is a large state. Several districts are affected by this ongoing crisis, this civil war, if you will. How do you know where to deploy all these countermeasures?
Look, I would say you have to do a tactical appreciation as to where the fight is going on.
Yes.
After all, there the battle lines are clearly drawn. You generally know where these militants are operating, and generally you would get a fair idea as to what the targets are.
Right.
But beyond that, it's a search in the haystack.
Right.
Search for a needle in the haystack. You have to be prophylactic and you have to see how patterns are established over a period of time, how habits are established, how these drone attacks are undertaken, and it's going to be a long process. It's not an easy thing which has happened here. It's not a simple thing which has happened here. This just complicates the whole process. I mean, I still maintain prevention is better than cure. So first, start seriously going into the political aspects of it and get those warring factions to the table
Yes.
and start normalizing the state. Otherwise, we are looking at a horrific situation on our border where the Chinese are active, right?
Right.
And where you will get undermined, your sovereignty and territorial integrity is at stake. I can't say more.
Right, absolutely. I think you've nailed it there, General Shankar. The fact that we shouldn't take these drone bombs lying lightly, because these could point to a far, far bigger national security threat on our boundaries, with our adversaries watching very closely. But Deepak, this has been a pattern in Manipur now. I think it's been simmering for far too long. And as General Shankar just mentioned, that there has to be a solution for this very quickly, because it's been simmering for about a year now, and now, God forbid, we might see even FPV drones being used by the other side. So literally, how much of a clarion call is there for peace to start there, for, say, the top government officials to come down there and get the warring sides to sit on the discussion table?
I think the sooner we start, the better. To begin with, drones isn't really the thing that is worrisome.
It's a manifestation of the problem. I think that
if you just
the way
look up the
they're
records,
attacking each other.
If you look up the records, as many as 30,000 assault weapons
Yes.
are missing in Manipur. The problem, that is enough to arm, several battalions.
Yes.
Then you also have to appreciate this factor that we cannot get caught up in the arms race about drones and counter drone technology.
Yes.
We will have to take active measures. For instance, if you look at what's happening in Ukraine, signal jamming is no longer the solution that it was, because surprise, surprise, there are drones which are there to promote signals.
Right.
So
You have wire-guided drones as well now.
yeah, so there are other drones as well.
Yes.
There are wire-guided drones. There are drones which work, simply as, say, Wi-Fi adapters, or to boost signals. So we really need to start as soon as we can.
Absolutely, we need to start as soon as we can. It's a clarion call for action. Manipur demands conflict resolution at the earliest, because today they're deploying drone bombs. We never know what could come in tomorrow. As General Shankar mentioned, it could be FPV drones of the kind that we've seen in Ukraine-Russia war. But this is a call for action, that the political process literally has to start today, because today it's drone bombs in Manipur. Tomorrow those bombs could travel across the country. It could be used by any other civilian agency to attack VVIPs, to carry out high-profile assassinations on crowds. And that is literally the worry out of these attacks, copycat attacks, other groups using the kind of technology that's been deployed in Manipur, replicating them across the country. But that is a burning issue that we've just been speaking about today, Manipur's drone bombs and why we need to worry. Thank you very much for joining us, General Ravi Shankar, Group Captain Sidhu, and of course my colleague Deepak Badana.